All right, welcome back. Same shirts because we filmed this the same day. This is Fan Addict coming to you from Bankston's over here.
Lovely Bankston's comics, cards, and sports.
And we didn't do this last time, but Butter My Biscuit is gracious enough to give us this entire thing of coffee. Yeah. It's amazing.
So if you guys haven't checked them out, they're right next door off of South Valley Mills.
Yeah, just a hop and a skip away from all this place.
Inside of King's Landing. So, Butter My Biscuit. Mm-hmm. Go get the biscuit of the day. I don't know what it is today. Anybody see the menu?
I didn't see it, but normally they try to incorporate it with some kind of, so they'll have like chicken Alfredo with the biscuit or like barbecue or
right
tacos or something, but it's super good, super delicious.
Yeah, all the biscuits are scratch made.
Yeah, the thing I like about them most is like if you ask them a day ahead, they can do stuff like this for you. Yeah. Like, what, you want an entire just vat of coffee? We got you, bud. Like,
done.
Cool.
Done.
So, but today we'll be discussing some actual comics. We've been on movies for a while now, but
there's just a lot of movies.
Which is good.
It's superhero season, man.
Superhero season.
You didn't have that a lot growing up. It was all action movies and sci-fi and stuff, which is still cool. But
I had to just pray that they were ever going to make another Batman movie after the George Clooney thing. Like, I was just sitting there with my Batman toys, only a little bit crying. Only crying a little bit. Yeah. But anyway, we're covering Marvel's 2-in-1 today.
Yeah.
It's been a really fun ramp up and lead up to the Fantastic Four reboot they've announced. And I think that might be why there's such a big pause on publishing 2-in-1 right now, is they're trying to write that last,
trying to make it sync up with the relaunch that's coming in the summertime.
And it's been wild. It's been crazy.
It's a good book.
It really embodies the just out there-ness of Fantastic Four as a whole. Reading some of the older issues of Fantastic Four, every issue or maybe every 2 issues was just somewhere completely different. Like, they took the exploration to the max, and that really, I mean, it's drug out to 4 or 5 issues an arc instead of just 1, but they really,
and that's what was always cool. That's why I always like Fantastic Four is one of my favorite comics, because it was about like exploration, and these 4 people that were from Earth and were from like city, and then they go into like space or time travel, and they meet all these different characters and stuff, and that's why I always liked it. And so plus all the cool powers and things like that. But this Marvel 2-in-1 was really cool, and I wasn't expecting it to have such a good story to it, because I thought it was just going to be like a, how they did the 2-in-1s back in the day, where it was like a team up, and it was like kind of...
It was a team up, and it was one issue, or maybe it carried over to the next issue, but it was essentially done.
Yeah.
Like a one-and-done story.
And it was just something cool to read, and it was out there, and it was something that you'd never see before. But this one, really, the story, man, it was great. The art's great in it. Jim Chung did the art for I think like the first...
I think for all...
There's one issue that he did, they handed it over to somebody else, but other than that, he did all the issues.
Okay.
I think.
So it's Chip Zdarsky is writing, and Jim Chung with John Dell on inks, and then Laura Martin on colors. Mm-hmm. Laura Martin is like a beast on colors.
Awesome,
she's been in the business since the 90s when Image started. Oh man, she's just amazing. I love her colors. But as a recommendation from Armando, we all read Marvel 2-in-1, and it wasn't Armando that recommended it. It was your girlfriend.
Yeah. It was funny because like when we started dating, like you there's girls out there that are into comics, and they like they like the movies, and they like the T-shirts and stuff. Well, she was like, yeah, I like comics, and she actually reads them. She actually and so I had read like the first issue of 2-in-1, and I liked it, and I was planning on going to get back, and so. I was like, hey, we're thinking about doing this, Coffe and Comics for 2-in-1. Would you like to sit in and you'll have to read it? She's like, I'm already on like issue 4. Like I've been
right. So she was ahead of you.
Yeah, she was ahead of me. And so I was like, cool. So that's something that we talked about. She really liked it too. So, but yeah, it was really good. I liked it a lot.
Well, I like in like issue 1, it's dealing with it's coming off of the setups that we got in the Legacy book, and then before that the
Secret War
the Secret War, but the infamous Iron Man was the big with the Thing, and he thought he saw Reed come back, and Doom revealed that he knew where that setup was in issue 1 to begin with, but like Torch and Thing have a scuffle in Infamous Iron Man because Thing comes up and is like, I think Johnny's alive, and Torch like don't say shit like that ever again, basically.
Yeah, that's where this story kind of picks off is the fact that the Fantastic Four is separated, and it's thought that Reed is dead, and Sue is dead, and so it's just the Torch and Johnny, which they haven't had any contact. Thing's living his own life. He's kind of in the spotlight as a
See, that catalyst comes from Secret War at the end when the Fantastic Four essentially break up. Reed and Sue and the entire Future Foundation, which is all the kids that he had recruited. So it's his 2 kids plus one of the Powers kids and Katie Power, I think, from Power Pack.
Oh yeah,
Power
right.
Pack.
Power Pack.
Right, yeah.
The dragon.
Yeah.
Well, and they had like the God Emperor Doom in Secret War towards the end.
But like all these kids, the Wizard's clone and the little mole men children who were super smart, they all joined Reed and Sue out in the multiverse along with the Molecule Man from the Secret War, and they were reestablishing the Marvel multiverse. And they left Ben and Johnny to kind of look out for each other on Earth, knowing that they needed to be here. Well, that didn't work as well as they had hoped, and they ended up splitting up.
Yeah.
Ben got a job with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then came back to Earth and took a job with S.H.I.E.L.D. And Johnny started hanging out with the Inhumans and was dating Medusa for a little while.
Yeah, so weird.
And then he ended up with the Uncanny Avengers, I think.
Yeah.
That
was the last team.
Yeah. And so now they're like Johnny. They're kind of just hanging out. They had that scuffle in the infamous Iron Man, like you said, because Ben said, "I've seen Reed," and Johnny's like, "No, you haven't. He's dead." And
Yeah. Don't say shit like that. It just gives me hope. It's
Yeah.
like, boy, don't you need a little hope? Come on now.
And then the Thing, he finds a, I guess, like a message.
Doom had it.
Doom had it.
Doom
Yes,
took it.
Doom took it, and he came to. Did he? I think he approached.
Yeah, he approached Ben
and was like, "I've got this," and so.
And Ben threatened to beat him up
Right,
for like the 80th time
right.
since he's been Infamous Iron Man.
And so he goes and tells Johnny. He tells him that there's still a chance that Reed might be alive, but and the thing about it is that Johnny is kind of starting to lose his powers.
Well, they both are. Thing can't take it's harder to show Thing losing his powers than Johnny. But Thing said, in a couple of fights that they've, I think it was issue 2 or 3, with the water
Hydro Man.
That's it. Hydro Man. But he said, I was taking hits, and they weren't. It didn't feel like either he's hitting harder or I'm losing it too.
Yeah.
And so that's been a really interesting driving catalyst to get to the end instead of just the real world knowledge we know that Fantastic Four #1 is coming. It's a really,
and that was a cool thing too, because when you hear about like losing their powers, you think, oh, it's something like that he's got to fix. When later on they kind of reveal that it's because like the FF, because they were in the rays together, cosmic rays together, they kind of have to be together in order for their powers to like fully function. And that was really cool. And I was like, well, I never even thought about that.
Right.
So that was really good writing on that side of the part. And they also come into all these different characters, because now they're traveling through the multiverse to try to find, which Ben knows that, well, he thinks that Reed is still dead, but he's telling Johnny like, oh, he might still be alive. So Johnny thinks they're searching for Reed and Sue, and when they're actually trying to figure out what Reed left them, in the
little message,
and stuff. And so they're coming time traveling. They're coming to all these characters that are different and stuff, which was really cool.
Well, and where they are right now is just, it's insane. Like, it's they get to that reality.
They get to a planet where it's first of all, they come into contact with Wolverine and
Shield.
And Shield, yeah. Wolverine's working for Shield.
They both are.
They both are, right?
All the heroes have joined up with Shield as sort of a global defense. Thing.
The ones that are left.
The ones
anyway.
that are left. Yeah. The ones that are left. This planet.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, this story builds.
It builds. You're like, well, okay, well, there's got to be a reason why all these characters are all of a sudden like gun ho Shield, like.
Right.
It's because it's the only option because of what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, so go ahead.
I was gonna say I love the treatment that they're continuing the treatment of Victor Von Doom from his run with Infamous Iron Man right now, and I love how like he just he comes in, and it's odd to see Doom being the voice of ration and reason among like everyone's arguing. Well, we need to do it this way. We need to do it this way, and Doom's just like, Doom is here. Stand back. I will do this.
He'll come in every couple of panels and say something and then leave, like he's like...
Yeah.
I was like, what? Is this dude involved in this story or is he just like a,
Yeah. Well, and then it's funny because later on towards, this end issue that we're in right now, the batshit Galactus Doom that's going on.
Oh, yeah.
There is only one person who knows Doom like Doom does, and it's Doom.
Yeah, because that's why everybody's working for Shield now, is because they're like, Doom got the power cosmic, or he's what is it? Doom is Galactus, right?
Yeah, Doom is
Galactus. Like,
in this
particular universe
dimension. Reed failed, and Doom succeeded in defending the Earth against Galactus, but instead of fending him off and sending him into space like the Fantastic Four did in the 616 universe, Doom actually defeated and became Galactus himself. Because Doom's power mad.
Right.
He took Galactus's power for himself, only he let it consume him, and he ended up consuming everything.
And there's that one panel where it's just the Earth.
Just the Earth and the sun.
That was awesome.
Well, and I love his reasoning of like, this is how I'm going to defend the Earth. I'll just have this force eat everything but Earth. And then that way it doesn't want to eat Earth.
But then in the end, he's like, well, now I'm hungry. Yeah. So, F it. I'm just going to do it anyways because I'm Galactus. Yeah. And so that's when they're going to, they bring Doom in, like you said, which was great.
But it's cool to see.
I think the writer brings in Doom. Doom had been tracking. Yeah. He'd been tracking these guys through the multiverse, trying to figure out what was the message as well. Because Doom is nothing if not curious as well. It's like whatever it is, whatever information, whatever knowledge, Doom must have it.
Right, and it's a little weird still to see the Doom as he is right now, not done in that painted style. I forget the artist's name.
Alex Maleev.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's still a little weird to see Doom come in with like the vibrant colors of everything, that because they utilize colors so well in this book.
Yeah.
And the line work is really, really defined, and so it's not that Maleev brushwork kind of blurry imagery. So it's a little weird to see that, but it's also it also feels fresh.
Yeah.
Like the whole book feels fresh on this entire take.
I think for the entirety of Infamous Doctor Doom, I've only seen him represented through Alex Maleev's work. Mm-hmm. And then, like you said, with Jim Chung doing it, this is very refreshing.
Yeah.
So, and he has a couple stints in the Iron Man book that I'm reading where he comes in, but even then, the color in that book is not anywhere close to as animated as this. And it was really cool to see Reed sit there with the, like, this is what happened because I failed. Like, it was really interesting to see the one character that had always been,
always have ideas. Now just be like, well, this is just the way it is. Like, I messed up. And
he had been, in this series, the alternate universe Reed has been reduced to just middling scientist. He's not a super scientist. He's not coming up with world-saving, galaxy-saving ideas or, adventuring. He's stuck. He's in his lab. He's just doing whatever. Oh, let's check out Petri dish number 23A.
Right.
And, another iPhone to fix.
Yeah.
It's cool to see. It's a soft reunion for fans because in that universe, both Reed and Storm still.
Ben and Storm are dead. Reed and Sue.
Oh, Sue Storm is what I meant.
Okay.
Like Reed and Sue Storm are both still alive.
Yeah.
And so they're reunited, even though both parties know this isn't their other party.
Right.
But like, Sue has that moment where
she's like a badass. Like
but she goes to hug. Ben. That's it. I don't know why I'm blanking on names today. But she goes to hug Ben, and Ben's like, I'm not your Ben, right? And she's like, don't ruin this. Just, like, let's...
Yeah.
Like,
it's just
it helps us both.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was a really cool, soft reunion. And I feel like I didn't get a ton of feels out of it because I haven't been, like, huge Fantastic Four fan. But I feel like fans of the Fantastic Four, like...
Yeah.
Hit them in the heart. So...
Right in their feels.
Right in the feels.
But I'm interested to see how they wrap up this Galactus storyline and if they continue the 2-in-1 book.
While it's fun,
I don't want them to. I don't think so. Because then I think it'll just turn into like a gimmick thing. Like,
well, and that's what it originally was. Because it was always 2-in-1, and it was always Thing and Thing and Power Man, or Thing and Iron Fist, or Thing and Spider-Man. It was always Thing teaming up with someone else. So, or am I thinking Marvel team up? There's so many Marvel books.
Right.
Yeah.
But even 2-in-1 was
that. 2-in-1 was like that. Marvel team up normally had an ongoing thing. It was like, I think it was like, or they had supervillain team up, I know, and then they had regular team up, Marvel team up.
Right.
But I think what I mean like is like, I feel this was just such a good way to lead into something.
Yeah.
To not just like overkill it and then it turn into like thing and this, thing and that, thing and...
Instead of like that stuff that they're doing with like the hunt for Wolverine right now to lead up to him coming back.
How many series is that?
I don't know, man.
Like 4 or 5
There's
different
like
series
5
with
different
4
things,
issues
like...
each. It's like, come on, guys.
It's almost as bad as, Venom. Oh.
Just so
There's a whole
stuff.
episode coming on Venom. Don't worry. but no, I hope they continue 2-in-1 or something like it, because I kind of miss those semi one-off stories. Like it'd be refreshing in this era where Brian Michael Bendis drug out the search for Tony Stark for 9 issues. It'd be refreshing to see
I think
just completely one-off stories.
I think they could do it if Marvel would be willing to throw in different characters.
Yeah.
But right now they're so fixated on focusing on them. So what is it going to be?
They're trying to get to those 40 variants that are coming out.
The Thing in Wolverine, the Thing in Venom, the Thing in the only, you know what I mean? Like it's just those 2 characters that they would be able to do. And if they did other ones, like people who read comics and who like comics would be like, oh, that's cool. Right. Other people would be like, oh, this isn't a variant, or this isn't something that's,
Right. But I feel like going back to last episode with Deadpool 2, we talked about how, they canceled Cable the day Deadpool 2 came out. They canceled his solo comic series. Yeah. So I feel like 2-in-1, or at least a title similar, would be a good way to utilize those characters that they're not quite strong enough for a solo run. Cough, cough, Venom. Cough, cough. Or they don't hold up well, I guess, because I know there were talks of canceling Spider-Gwen for a little bit, and I don't know if they ever pulled the trigger on that, but I know that was...
It's not canceled. They're ending it. The writer and the artist they are getting to issue 34, and that's the end of their story.
Oh, okay.
That's the end of their story for that character. So they're essentially ending it before Marvel does.
Right. So I feel like this one and what's the other one that the old title came back and it's with Buck right now? Tales of Suspense.
Yeah.
I feel like if Marvel kept just those 2 brands of books open, they could swap characters in and out and tell these great one-off stories and not have to try and see hey, is Nick Fury gonna carry an entire solo series? I feel like that might be a better way to go for some of these smaller characters.
I feel like that's what these books were when they originally had them in the 60s, 70s. They were just tryout books for different characters. Mm-hmm. You could see Hellcat or Black Widow on her own, or Moon Knight, you know? Mm-hmm. I think it would be a great vehicle for a rotating cast of characters like that. Like the Winter Soldier, he can't carry a book on his own for 30 plus issues, but he can do a 3-6 issue arc and then move it on to somebody else.
Yeah, right.
Like the Squadron Supreme, the new one, the rebooted one that they've introduced into the universe, or bring back characters before you give them a series, like Namor.
Yeah,
you know, just not everybody needs their own book.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, the whole Jean Grey book, I don't want to read that.
Well, and
it sounds like that would be so. It sounds so good. It's just like, I don't know, man. It just feels. Go ahead.
Even I love Ant-Man, like he's fun and all that, and they announced Ant-Man and the Wasp is getting a book, but they've already announced that it's only a 12-part book.
Yeah,
like they know.
Yeah.
So it'd be great to have some of the, like Falcon. Falcon's just, I just hate his character in the comics. He's not good, but Falcon would be a good use for a 2-in-1, like a Falcon and Bucky 2-in-1, and then Bucky stays and it's a Bucky and Ant-Man 2-in-1, or excuse me, that kind of thing.
And it sounds so good to people who generally like comics. Mm-hmm. Like I would love that to happen, but it's just like how the market is now. It's like, well, okay, this is cool. What's the variant on it?
Yeah,
or like, and it's like, no, dude, it's just a book. Just read it. Like, it's okay.
Right. But this has been a ride. I'm waiting to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Again, I can't get off of the use of color in this. It's just so vibrant, and so they use...
It's a fun book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They use warmer, like, purples and oranges a lot, as opposed to, like, every comic lately has been, like, dingy brown and some gray thrown in there. Or they've gone with, like, that weird aqua green for a lot of...
A
lot of books lately.
The new Avengers book is very bright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's really good. But overall, like what got me into it was they said, there's some really good actual Doctor Doom stuff in there. And they're like, no, not Iron Man Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom.
Next Monster Island. That's cool.
Greg Land.
It's a good book.
Yeah, it also just makes me angry that I still suck at inks. No big. Whatever. So I'm just going to buy a blank sketchbook and burn it at the end. Like, just fill it with all these useless ink characters and then burn it. No big. So, but definitely, if you're looking for something new and unique, something that, and at the same time, I love that it's largely inconsequential. Mm-hmm. Like, stuff that happens in this book isn't going to change anything in any of the books you're reading right now. So you don't need to worry about that.
It occurs outside of any major Avengers or X-Men storyline, or it doesn't interact with Spider-Man, so you don't have to worry about Peter Parker being hampered by the Thing or Johnny Storm or anything. Like, oh.
Right, right. So, but definitely if you're looking for something like that to check out, it's well worth it.
Yeah.
I would say add it to your pull list, but I think it's still going to be another month before the next issue comes out.
Yeah,
it's been almost a 3-month break now.
But it is on issue 5, so you at least get 5 parts of the story now.
Right.
So.
Binge it. It's like Netflix, but comics.
Yeah.
Cool.
But till then.
Till next time, guys. We'll see you around.
We're about to go drink some beer.